Yeah.
Oh my God, I think it was the mute button. So, hi everyone, this is KJ with Forward Life Coaching. I'm here today and I'm actually talking with the coach Cleo Hill. I am so honored to be speaking to him. I've known Cleo since like day one. Our parents were best friends and so much more. But let me tell you about why he's so amazing and why I'm excited today. So I asked Cleo if I could interview him, and he's like, yeah, because he's just that kind of humble, nice person. And then I started to Google him and I was like, oh my gosh, like I knew, but I didn't really know. So let me tell you a little bit about Cleo Hill. Okay, so here we go. Um, Orange High School. In Orange High School, he played in Orange High School. He scored over 1,000 points and is currently ranked in the top 40 players of Orange High School's basketball, top 40 basketball players at Orange High School in their history. He is also ranked in the top 30 of North Carolina Central University's basketball players. It goes on. He was the assistant coach at Mount Zion Christian Academy. He coached Tracy McGrady, and as we know, Tracy McGrady went straight from high school to the NBA. He was the assistant coach for Ronald Flip Murray, 2002. He went to the NBA second round, and he played for CIAA school, which was huge to have somebody from CIAA go second round into the NBA draft. Basically, box to row. So box to row, he explained this to me today. I thought I was going to be fancy and be like, box to row, but it's actually from the box to the row selection. And he won Coach of the Year in 2011 and 2012. This is for CIAA. I'm not sorry, HBCU schools. He won the CIAA Coach of the Year in 2012 and NCAA championship in 2012 with Shaw University. 4 Division II playoff berths for Cheney and Shaw. And you're going to have to explain that BERTHS to me. Pennsylvania Sports Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in 2008. National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association NCAA Division II Clarence Big House Games Coach of the Year in 2011. I feel like I'm starting to cry again. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So Australian Swann Hill Flyers. Okay, so when we hear Hill in the name, we know that my cousin is a bad man or awesome man because he actually had a team named after him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But when he played for the Australia Swann Hill Flyers, he averaged 41 points per game and was selected MVP for the league's first All-Star game. It just goes on and on. And once again, like I said, I am so proud of my cousin. I remember when he was little, he always, he was always playing basketball with the guys, with Michael, and I don't know, I can't remember who else. Michael was just my big crush, Michael and everybody else. But just a phenomenal person inside and out. Whenever I call and whenever I'm in need, he always responds with a yes. So I'm very grateful. So here we go. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for that introduction. You did your homework and a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to like I said, wanted to surprise you. I'm super duper proud. You know, one of the things that amazes me is I remember when we were growing up, like you played basketball a lot. You had great friends who played basketball, etc. But I didn't realize that you were not only playing, but you were mastering the game from a player's perspective, from a recruiter's perspective, from a coach's perspective. I mean, you've really honed in on the art of basketball. And I was wondering, tell me a little bit about how you were able to learn in those 3 areas. Like, what are some of the things that you do for preparation? What's your mantra?
Well, I thought that's what it was. Even at, like you said, at a young age, preparing for playing in high school, preparing for playing in college. And at that time, I was also preparing for playing in the NBA or at least professional on some level. Um, Playing against older guys and getting advice from older guys, all of that came from the preparation. And it didn't hurt that I had a good basketball player living in the same house with me. who was a great basketball player and a great coach. So I think that's where I started my preparation from on a daily basis, in and out of the house, going to his practices and just observing his players and the kind of pressure they went through at the college level. That was great for me at the high school level at the time.
So wait, did you actually play on Cleo?
No, we never actually played a game. We did have some shooting contests back in the backyard.
Yeah.
We did. We did.
And was he good?
I didn't win many of those. I didn't win many of those. He had a shot that I could not duplicate, which was the hook shot with the right and the left hand from distance, and I did not do well with that particular shot.
Wow. Yeah, I remember just talking about how phenomenal he was when they did the ESPN special.
Right, the Black Magic.
Right. So, and my mom has always talked about how great he was and everything. I never got a chance to see him play, but I did get a chance to see him coach.
Right, and I mean there were a lot of lessons that I learned from attending his practices and games, and then that helped a lot for me, and even in high school and in college, because I knew what to expect and I knew what to prepare for.
So understanding the game as well as you did made it easy for you to transfer from location to location or site or environment to environment because you were so keen on the game.
Yeah, no, I thought even playing in different summer leagues in New Jersey and sometimes in New York and Philadelphia, I thought moving from place to place, playing against different kind of competition and playing for different coaches, I thought all of that prepared me for high school, college, and semi-pro, and even my coaching career. I thought all of that came into play in my development.
Wow. So let me ask you this, because I've heard so many stories about it, but I just wanted to hear a little bit more about it. You played in Australia, right?
Correct.
And I've heard the experience of playing internationally is a huge change in the sense that they call you immediately or you have to leave immediately. Tell me a little bit about that process. How did that work?
Oh, wow. I actually got the call. I finished my eligibility playing, but I did not graduate. So I went home to New Jersey. I ended up working at Seton University in the Recreation Center, which there's a nice story, a backdrop. Maybe I'll get to that later. But I earned some more money to go back to school because I only had 2 classes to take. And during the finals, right before final exams, I got the opportunity to go over to Australia to play with my roommate. And I was not able to take my final exams. So I opted to go over there and embark on a semi-professional career. And it was interesting. When they call you, you have to come right away. When that plane ticket says whatever date it has on that plane ticket, you have to go. And a lot of times you're in different environments that you haven't been in before. I was in Swann Hill, which is a very small rural area. I would say kind of country. And the people were nice. I think when Americans come over to different countries to play basketball, they are viewed as LeBron James or Michael Jordan. They are expecting for all Americans to play at that level. So there was pressure that came with it. And there was also pressure being one of 2 Americans on a team. You can only have 2 Americans per team unless you change from United States citizen to Australian citizen. You change your citizenship, they can have 3 or 4, but they can only have 2 Americans per team. And I felt pressured to change my citizenship to Australian. I did feel some pressure with that, but I did not I know a couple of guys that have caved into that pressure. And when you change your citizenship, you can only come back to America to visit. You're on a time restriction. Your visa has a return date. So those are all small pressures that you face once you're an American going overseas.
I can't hear you.
You are frozen. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, I might transition over to H. I might have some questions. So.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So you said, so I heard the plane, only thing I heard was the plane you got there and you could not, and the citizenship. So when you transitioned to Australia, as I've heard the whole celebrity status that you mentioned, what was the one thing that you think you took from that environment that you brought back to the US, like that made your game even that much stronger?
Well, I don't think I really took it from there. It was my ability to adapt to different environments, different rules, different people, different players, different coaches. I just kind of carried that back with me. I think my coaching career started over there. I had an under 14 girls team that was so dominant, and that was probably my first love of coaching. And that's when I started, building my philosophy of coaching. And again, it came down to being able to adapt to different environments. That was my first time coaching girls. That was my first time coaching basketball. That was my first time coaching professionals. That was my first time having a fan base as a coach. So it's the ability to adapt, I think, at all levels and all professions. I think that's a key.
When did it sink in that you have something to offer and they're getting it? Like I'm making a difference. I can see the impact of my skills or my coaching. When was that first aha moment? Like, okay, I can continue doing this. What did it look like?
I think it was over there. It was actually in Australia, and it's a little weird that I was coaching. I was playing for the team, but I was coaching the under 14 girls team. And then that next year, I thought that they thought that I did so well coaching the girls that they offered me a position as player head coach. And that's when I realized that, wow, based on my first coaching experience ever, they wanted to make me a coach of a semi-professional basketball team.
Wow. Well, I didn't know that. I should have added that to the whole intro. I didn't know about that. So you did keep something from me. You did keep something from me. So do you ever hear the people you've coached say, wow, Coach Hill, I really got this from you, or wow, like, I know that this made a difference in my life, or blah, 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 blah. Have you heard someone say something consistently echoed?
Yeah, all the time. More from former players. Again, and not that my current players aren't appreciative of the program that I built, but there lies the pressure that they're under at times. Pressure to perform, and pressure to perform on the court, pressure to perform in the classroom, pressure to perform socially on the campus, being leaders of the campus. But from my former players, I think the thing that I hear the most is I made college basketball very close to the real world with how I created pressure. And that's what I want to try to do. That's, if I have a mantra, it's It's coaching basketball to prepare you for life after the ball stops bouncing. I create pressure like they'll have in the work world. I create pressure that they'll have during interviews. You're competing with someone for a job, and you're competing with your teammates here in college for positions and minutes. When you have a penalty or when you're punished for being late, for being absent, that's going to happen in the real world. You can't come to meetings late. You can't not come to work, and things of that nature. And I try to make it as lifelike as I possibly can, myself and my staff.
Wow. That's great, because you know what, right now we hear so much of people going through depression and anxiety and all these different stressors because they can't cope with the change that is going on right now. I had the stats yesterday, but I want to say it's like 70%. No, it is 70%. 70% of high school students are stating that they are suffering, or that they have that anxiety and depression are a major challenge. And 26% are saying it is a minor challenge. So once again, just making sure that individuals are prepared and ready for the stressors that are going to happen, because college is much, much easier than the real world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if you can't get it in college, you're really going to have a tough time when you graduate. So,
right.
So I love the fact that you're teaching that realness and helping individuals to get prepared. If you were to leave one nugget of readiness skills, if you were to give people one nugget of advice as they go forward, what would you say?
Pretty simple. Embrace the pressure. And embrace the pressure and embrace the stress. It won't last forever, but you can learn from each stressful and pressure situation, and it'll make you better for the next one.
Wow. So they're all building blocks.
All building blocks.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been prepared for the University of Nebraska if I didn't coach at Mount Zion with those level of players. And then I don't think I would have been prepared to be an assistant coach at Shaw if I wasn't at a high profile situation at the University of Nebraska. I don't think I would have been prepared to be a head coach at Cheney if I didn't coach at a HBCU like Shaw. And I don't think I would have been prepared for a Winston-Salem State if I didn't head coach at Shaw University in this league. So they're all building blocks. And during the pressure-packed, stressful moments, like you said, you have to find the nuggets in that, because it'll help you for the next situation.
So what do you do during the off time? Tell me something that you do. I know you do a lot of the coaching, but what do you recommend your players do so that you're not just in that mindset?
Well, for the player in that mindset?
However you choose to answer it.
Well, for the players, while we are not having games, it's really academic time, especially for the freshmen and the transfers, to get your feet wet and get them stable at Winston-Salem and get accustomed to study hall, know where the buildings are, meet with your advisors, meet with the head of your major departments, and then having one-on-one meetings with me, myself, my coaches, getting a chance to know the athletic staff, doing community service events, doing all the things that you can do that don't require that constant pressure of a basketball game. So the pressure still exists to get even better grades than you would if there had been a season. It's COVID-19 right now, so they are not the same pressures socially, but they are different pressures. You have to wear a mask everywhere on campus. You have to get a COVID screening every day. You have to fill out screening forms every day. You can't go to the caf with a certain amount of people. You can't be in the gym with a certain amount of people or at certain times. So there are still pressures, even though there's not a basketball season. For myself, me and my staff are still trying to recruit. We have one scholarship to give, and we have to make sure we look at everything that we can. A young man's academics, how he performs under pressure, how he performs socially, what his character is like. So we have 3 months to get it right for one person. And then there lies the go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, is there anything that when you see it, you're like, oh, that's the it factor? Has there ever been something that's really stood out amongst all those different things where you said, okay, that's the it factor? Even if they don't have the other things, we can train them or we can mold them in this area. I mean,
yeah, no, Kelly, it comes down to what we've been talking about. I don't like to see players play when they're winning by 30 points. I like to see the close games against tough competition, and for me, a packed gym and a packed environment. If a player can perform under pressure, then that's my guy. The pressure situations, that's an aha moment for me.
right. Well, sounds awesome. So I didn't want to let you get off the hook. You mentioned there was a story about Seton Hall
Oh wow, yeah.
that you said you wanted to share, and I wanted you to.
There were two things in the same story. I was working the front desk, and one of the guys on the team, Pookie Wigington. Some people may have heard of him. He used to be the agent for Kevin Hart. He took a liking to me. He was from California, and he used to play one-on-one with me a lot. And I remember playing with the regular student body. I was on one team, he was on the other, and I played very well. I had just got finished playing organized basketball a couple of months ago. So I remember going to the bathroom, and I was in one of the stalls, and I came out, and one of the guys, older men who was up there, looked like he was fixing some lights or something, and he said, hey man, you played pretty good out there. I said, yeah, I did okay today. He said, you should, try out for the team. I laughed, and I said, no, I finished college already, which I hadn't at that time. And he said, where'd you go to school at? And I said, North Carolina Central. He said, oh man, that's great basketball down there, man. North Carolina Central, they had a good team. They had Cleo Hill Jr. and those cats down there. They were pretty good. So I got a kick out of that, and I tried to compose myself, but I was like, no, that's, I didn't want to say that's me, but I said, yeah, no, my name was Cleo Hill Jr. So we talked, and the next day, based on how I played, Pookie, the guy on the basketball team, asked me to play with the regular team. They needed one. And, I got my shorts and everything out the car, and I came, and one of the guys said, no, we're going to wait for one of the players that's on the real team. And Pookie said, no, he's okay. He's cool. He can play. And the guy said, no, we're going to wait. And the guy is Andrew Gaze, the Australian Michael Jordan at the time. And so I didn't take it personally. I got off the court, and the guy came, and they played. Was I, as my player said, was I in my feelings a little bit? Yeah, it was. Anyway, fast forward, I go back to school. I play. I finished playing, but I was taking those 2 classes, and then I got the opportunity to go overseas. And I went over there. I was out of shape, and I played the whole year, trying to get in shape, and I got into some shape. And then the manager of the team said, look, you don't have to go home right now. You can stay here through the year and work out and get ready for next season. So I decided to do that. And he said, yeah, and we have this big tournament at our gym. a couple of NBL players play, and like 100 teams in the tournament. And so I'm in shape now. I'm in like great shape, getting ready for this tournament. And we move through the rounds of the game, and we get to the finals 8 teams. And guess who is playing on the other team? Andrew Gaze. Wow. Like, I was like so ready. And I spoke to him in layup lines, and he didn't remember me. I was nobody, but I really played well. I had 56 points against them. They did beat us. They had a couple of people from the Australian Olympic team, and we just had a regular old, summer league team. But I just remember, him playing defense on me a couple of times. I had some extra energy when he was guarding me, and I just thought that was an interesting story. And you just never know. Did he try to play you hard?
Did he try to play you hard? Did he try to take you down?
No, he just played normal, because I don't think he remembered me. But it was good for me that I played a really good game, and actually I did get a couple of offers to play in their league after that tournament. But some other things happened we won't get into. But no, it was a great experience. Great experience for me over there.
Would you recommend playing internationally? Would you recommend your students play internationally?
Oh, definitely. The relationships, just the experience of being in another culture and having to adapt to it. I think it's a priceless experience.
Yeah, I
still talk to some people over there today.
Yeah. You and I've never lived overseas, but travel, vacation, but that's very little. But I think that, living in the North, living in the South, one of the things that it teaches you is living in those two different environments is really and truly honing in on communication styles and
yes.
the receptive skills, the expressive skills, because they're very, very different. The way people communicate up North, the way people communicate in the South are very, very different. So it makes you more attentive to the details. And it makes you more efficient in your delivery. So I can only imagine that's working or playing overseas, it probably exponentially increases that ability to.
I thought so.
To do so. Well, Coach Hill, we know that you are phenomenal as a coach, as a recruiter, as a player, as all this, etc. And I'm quite sure more people are going to want to engage with you and ask more questions, some of the questions that I may have missed today. And even maybe want to contact you about that one scholarship opportunity.
Well, look, they can. There are a couple of ways. You can email me at Cleo at hillc@wssu.edu, or you can go to my website, cleohilljr.com. Or if you want to give to the Cleo and Ann Hill Scholarship Fund, you can contact Denise Hutchinson at 973-699-1724.
Tell us a little bit about the Ann Cleo Hill Scholarship Fund, really quickly.
It's a scholarship fund really for residents of New Jersey. It's an out-of-state scholarship fund it started probably back in 2015. When my father passed, my mother and father did want to do a scholarship, and the Winston Salem, New Jersey chapter alumni person came to the house during that time, and it was a rough time, but she helped me organize the scholarship, and it still stands to this day. So it's really for New Jersey residents.
Wow. Phenomenal. So they can actually donate to that scholarship fund via Denise Hutchinson, the number that you gave us?
That's correct.
Okay. And also, once again, with regards to persons who may be interested in playing for Winston State University, what is it that you need to see from them? What is it that you would want to see?
Well, right now, in this climate, high character and high academics. Young men that are willing to be helped to grow and mature on and off the court, and young men that can handle pressure situations, whether they're in the classroom, on the basketball court, or being a leader on the campus of Winston-Salem State University. All of those are things that right now in this climate, I would be willing to entertain at a high level.
Do you appreciate videos? So like if they were to get testimonials where their current coach or, you know, maybe somebody in the academic realm, et cetera, would talk about them, would give a few minutes?
Yeah, no, I think that helps. I do watch highlight videos because I'm still a basketball player at heart. I like the music that some of the guys put to it. Just sometimes it's too much cursing. But then testimonials, that's something a few student athletes or prospective student athletes have done. They've put, you know, their principal, high school coach, AAU coach, weight training, strength and conditioning coach, and they've said some good words. But then I also like to watch full games because highlight tapes, you don't miss any shots, you don't have any turnovers.
I know. I'm gonna send you my bad one.
Yeah, nobody sends a bad highlight tape, but I like to watch a game where I can watch it kind of in real time and watch, you know, their defense, their offense. You know, I even like when video people show the bench. I like to see a student athlete when he goes out of the game for doing something good, or he goes out of the game for doing something bad. I like to see his interaction with the coach. Does he stand there and get some feedback, or does he go to the end of the bench, put his towel over his head? And you know, I like to see those things. Those are character things that I look at.
Yeah, that well-roundedness, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and players that are used to doing community service and you know, things like that. I mean, you know, the great players that score 30 points a game are good. But 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be your role all the time in college. Everybody's was their best player most of the time.
Right.
So you have to pick a role. Again, it comes down to adapting.
And realistically, I think it's 2.9% of college players actually play in the NBA.
Yeah,
so
it's a low percentage. It's a low percentage.
Being prepared for other opportunities outside of that. So,
right.
Well, Coach Hill, I think that you've given us a great deal of insight as to what can be done with regards to readiness, what can be done with regards to actually presenting yourself to a university if you're interested in playing for them, and volunteering and so many other scopes. And also you're kind of funny, not as funny as me.
No, I am not. I am not as funny as you. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought you did a great job. Per usual. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Thank you. I did pay him to say it. No, I'm just kidding. Well, listen, Coach, thank you for everything. I'm going to actually make sure that your information is listed in the description of this interview to make sure that people can contact you. Also, if you want to just email me a couple of bullets of those things that you stated, I'm going to listen to the video again, but email me a couple of bullets of those things that you stated that students should provide, or that are highlights, or that are extras, that when they provide it for you in the recruiting process, it stands out. Because we want to make sure that people are able to put their best foot forward, but sometimes they don't know, you know, sometimes They just don't know what is needed or what is appreciated. So thank you again for everything. All right, talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Go Rams.
Yes. Thanks. So Cleo,
are we off? Are we still? It seems like we're still recording.
Are we?
I see the red dot with rec going.
All right, let me do this.